Welcome in tonight's episode of the Power Hour. It's a very different episode tonight. My name is Steve, and of course, my partner, as always, the urban sensation and icon that is C-Red. And our guest tonight, very special guest, is crash-tested wrestling superstar Michael Pierce. Michael, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me, gentlemen. It is an absolute honor and pleasure to be on here.
That is very nice, and I appreciate that, especially on a night like this. Before we get into Michael Pierce and his tag team partner, AJ Flyer, and their manager and everything that's going to happen at Hallow Pursuits on Sunday, October 24th at Hobart, which is going to be excellent. It's going to be great. I need to discuss the elephant in the room. C-Red, you and I, we've known each other many years, right?
Yeah.
I like to think we're friends. I mean, you've said it a couple of times that maybe we are, and I like to think we are. I mean, we spend a lot of time together, feel like there's good chemistry between us, and, we're friends, right?
Yeah.
One of your people, one of your boys,
my people, okay.
one of your sons wounded me on a deeply personal level this past Saturday night.
My people?
Yeah. One of your boys, one of your guys, one of your fellas, one of the touches. We've talked about him many times on this show. Offended me, hurt me, betrayed everybody for a damn title. That's low even for ARC at their worst. Certainly unbecoming a soul toucher. And, for those of you that don't know and weren't in Joliet this past Saturday night at the return of Rocket Pro Wrestling, I'm going to show you a little footage from the end of the show. Now, what had happened is champion Shogun Chris Logan put his title on the line against one of our most beloved superstars. NWA Power, Impact Wrestling, CSW, Crash Tested Wrestling. He's everywhere you want him to be all day. Marshe Rocket. They fought in the third ever Last Ride match on the exact anniversary of the first Last Ride match featuring The Undertaker. There was a hearse and everything. This is right after Marshe Rocket bludgeoned Shogun Chris Logan with a plumber's wrench, a solid steel red plumber's wrench, until the man was unconscious. Stuffed him in the back of a hearse and then drove past that designated point to win the title. This is the shenanigans that followed immediately that situation. So I'm going to cue up the footage the best way I can.
Tonight, he's a damn goat, and I do not mean the greatest of all time, and it pains me to say it. Marshe Rocket, you son of a bitch! This is highway robbery! You are better than this, sir! What have we just witnessed? Is there nothing that can salvage the atrocities I have just witnessed? Marshe Rocket calls for the mic. Marshe Rocket is a damn coward. It breaks my heart. I'm not the type to go out and say I told you so. What am I watching? Who the hell is this? Oh, for God's sake. true. He is the champ. Chris Logan in terrible shape. But you want to know something? Well, it's one thing to get to the top. It's another to stay at the top. And the only way you stay at the top is by destroying everybody in your way. What am I listening to? What in the world? Marshe Rocket looking to inflict more pain and suffering on a badly beaten Chris Logan. The man got beaten with a plumber's wrench. And now we're thinking, oh, Marshe, how the mighty have fallen. Pushing referees, but my God, is there anybody that can put a stop to this madness? That's what this is, nothing but madness. No, 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 don't let it happen. Marshe, please. Marshe, please stop. I can't watch. Wait a minute. The lights have gone out here at St. Joe's. What is happening? What is happening right now? My God, it's Brad! Brad is back at Joliet, my God! My God, there is a Lord and Savior! Brad is here, oh my God! What in the world? Everything makes sense! To the open God! God! Manifest! Marshe Rocket Bryn go way back. You have now met the great equalizer. Bryn is stuck and Marshe Rocket has seen a ghost. Rocket Pro Wrestling, what are you witnessing right now? This is history. This man, Bryn, built this damn building. Bryn is home at St. Joe's Park, my God, and just in the nick of time. Marshe Rocket has got fear in his eyes. And Bryn wants the title. Bryn wants the title, and Marshe exits stage left.
What the hell?
He beat his opponent, right?
Michael Pierce, you are a young superstar. You are a good man. You fight hard. You fight for the right reasons. What you just saw is one of the all-time great acts of cowardice. And it pains me to say that because I considered this man friend, one of my favorites of all time. Look what he did.
Steve. Do you think Marshe and let's just say the rest of the Soul Touch, do you think we have always been that goody good, loving, shake and jive? No, we didn't get where we were. Just no. Again, so you're shocked about Marshe. Why? There was a
That's not who
title
he
on the
is.
line.
That's
There's a
not
title
Marshe
on the
Rock that I
there's a
know.
title. There's a title on the Steve. You've seen me. You've seen me at my best, and you've seen me at my worst. Again,
See, Red, a toast to you, my partner and friend.
I appreciate it.
My toast to you, Michael Pierce, for being on this episode. But I
Oh,
toast
thank you.
I toast Marshe Rocket.
You should. The champ.
It may not matter to someone like Marshe to lose one fan. Maybe he doesn't care at all. I'm certain it won't cost him any sleep. But Marshe, we had a great ride. I'm done, man.
And that's sad, Steve. That's sad. That's sad. You know, you're letting your emotions get the best of you. Hey, it happened. I mean, you want to talk about
No, I really don't.
wrong. You want to talk about the wrong that Marshe did, but let's be honest. All of a sudden, Grin reappears out of nowhere, right? Right.
To
So
return
he's
the scales
he's
of
in
justice to the balance.
but he's in Marshe's face. And then let's not forget what else happened that night. That a certain thorny Rose won a contract.
Old Evil versus New Evil. It's a great match. That's great scientific. That's great storytelling.
But could Christian Rose get in? Did he confront Marshe one-on-one like a man? He won the contract. He won the briefcase.
He did.
No. He showed up. I saw the backstage footage now.
Yeah, that was Christian
Him,
Rose.
him and his cronies
Yes.
trying to intimidate Marshe. So now we have Grin and we have Christian Rose with his cronies. You can't expect something bad is going to happen to somebody.
I expect Marshe Rocket to have class. He has none.
Well, I'm sorry you feel that way. I
Anyway,
really am.
Other than that moment in time, and by the way, November 6th, back in Joliet, Marshe Rocket will defend his newly won Rocket Pro Wrestling title versus that very man Grin. So come to Joliet and join us, won't you? Because it'll be great to see Grin beat that fool bloody. I'll enjoy it.
Better hope, but I don't think so.
Anyway, it was my first time working at Rocket Pro Wrestling, and I had a great experience. The show was very good. Lots of great athletes. I feel like Rocket Pro needs you, C Red, to come reason with your boy and bring him back off this ledge because he's on a path to destruction.
Reason with him? Why would I reason with him?
You got to bring your boy home. Come get your boy, Red. Your boy's out of line. Come get him.
Hey, I applaud what he did.
Yeah.
I feel like he supports Marshe Rocket's decision here, Steve.
I don't like it. I knew I would not like it because I knew this is what he'd do.
But you don't have to. And that's the beautiful part about this world. We don't have to see eye to eye, Steve. We don't.
Oh, and something else. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Red. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I'm just saying, you see life like this. We see life like that. Hey, at the end of the day, who's got the belt? Who's got the
who's got back to Rocket Pro Red and come get your boy. Other friends of C Red that worked that night, including Flash Harris, who's on this program last week, got messed up by Michael Myers of all people. I thought Dr. Loomis had the monopoly on Michael Myers, so I've never seen Michael Myers deliver a stunner. So that was new. That was breaking ground at Rocket Pro for sure. The man with the largest testicles on the planet, Gunnar Brave, continued his Guinness Book testicle tour by defeating Connor Hopkins. So that was pretty good. There was a ladder match in which you said Old Evil Christian Rose came out on top, beat Just Amazing, and Ruthless Rockin' Rivera. And I think Turtle cost Rockin' Rivera that title. Watch the footage on YouTube. There was a ladder. There was a tornado tag team match in which our friends in No Coast came out on top of that one. So they're your new champions. So there was a hell of a lot going on in Joliet. The next show is November 6th, but we've talked long enough about Old Evil, New Evil. and that bastard with that likes to be called all day. I'm done with that. Michael Pierce, thank you for patiently letting me do my diatribe. Like I said, I haven't had a chance to talk to Red, since that happened, and it's been eating at my soul because of my respect and love for Marshe just going right out the window.
Rightfully so. There are many questions I'm sure you had to ask, and I'm sure you still have to ask.
You being my commentary partner for a couple of matches at the last show, Whiplash, you see my way, and I appreciate that, Michael. That's why we feel like the future of Crash Tested Wrestling is bright. Gentlemen, you both have a common enemy. There's a faction growing in Crash Tested Wrestling, like a fungus, really smelly, unsightly.
Testing dirty fungus.
Yeah, probably gonna need cream, probably a prescription from
easily
to get that out of there. But you've got Captain S-Girl and the Diamond Douchebags. That's what I'm calling them for now. I think it's kind of Gladys Knight and the Pippi kind of thing.
As long as it's PG-13, right?
No, if you want to say fuck those guys, say it, Mike. You got no restrictions tonight. Red will drop it.
I got childhood fans. I gotta stay.
We all have childhood
as I took a shot of whiskey earlier.
We all have childhood fans, and the children, the parents, parental guidance suggested, not always for children, the late night hours.
This is true.
You and C Red have a common enemy, and Red, they took some liberties on you, and Michael Pierce, they certainly took liberties on you. First of all, how's your leg? You sustained an injury in which you almost couldn't put any weight on it. So how are you feeling?
After those dirty tactics by the Gringo Flamingo Wade Evans, I gotta say, I'm a little.
Is that a nickname? Is that really what they call him, the Gringo?
No, that's what I call him because what else is he worth?
I mean, the man's
just a pain in the leg, as it turns out to be. But he's also a pain in other places. I have no women to say that he isn't or what have you, but just saying.
Wow.
All joking and fun aside, leg's okay. I'm gonna be 100% by the 24th of October.
Hallowed Pursuits is coming at us pretty quickly. For as far as Wade goes, might I suggest bringing a clean shirt and perhaps some kind of wrestling attire to a professional wrestling match? Red has talked about it on this show. If you're going to be a wrestler, dress like one, damn it. But, the leader of the S-Curl movement certainly doesn't dress to impress at all. So, there's no real good example, is there? See, Red.
Yeah.
You were in that ring doing amazing things, fighting hard for your cause. And, S-Curl took some liberties on you, was instrumental in your beatdown. What say you of this?
I mean, there's nothing I can say. I will admit, I lost. I lost the match for my team. But like you said, I fought. I gave it, what I had. And I mean, at the end of the day, Cody put me down for the 1, 2, 3. But that's not my problem right now. It's not even S-Curl. And I'm starting to feel some type of way. And I don't want to say I agree with S-Curl and his methods and his cronies, but I'm starting to feel a type of way about the CEO.
What?
Interesting.
Did you see you saw the flyer, right?
I did.
And you saw that I'm wrestling.
I did.
And you saw who I'm wrestling.
I did.
I did not okay that. I so why, so here's the funny part, Steve, like since you like that so much, that I read one of his comments and he just said that, oh, it just happened to chance that me and Brubaker are next to face off. I didn't see that in my contract.
Well, you know what? I get that. You know, I mean, it's not. You don't.
But you get that. I don't get that.
Well, I want to explain it to you.
Please do. Somebody needs to.
Well, I think you're selling yourself short. I think this is an excellent opportunity for you. I watched you in that ring. I watched C Red, and I didn't see 50-year-old C Red. I saw 22-year-old C Red. I saw C Red delivering punishment at will, and it took shenanigans by the S-curl movement to stop C Red. So to me, I know Cody has got his shot at Marshe for the title. Long time coming, I guess you could say that. But somebody's going to win that match at Hallowed Pursuits. Someone's going to win it. Marshe might win it. Cody might win it. Someone's going to be the champion. And then Brubaker is next in line, maybe. But if C Red puts the Filth King down, then maybe it's C Red's turn for a shot at the title. Maybe this is a number one contenders match. So that's the way I read this. I did not read this as the man didn't come to you. And I figure, like, you're a businessman. You want to be put in the best position for business, and a shot at the title, it should be everything that C Red wants. I don't see your problem.
You don't have to wake up the next morning in pain.
That is a fact. But
you don't have to wake up wondering, my head hurting. Is it a concussion or is it just a headache? You don't have to wonder. See, here's the problem. This isn't nothing new. Brew and Red, some kind of way, we've got history. That's nothing new. And I've seen him at his absolute worst. So why would I put myself in that type of situation where I already see what's going on? It ain't got nothing to do with number one. Yeah, if I get the number one contendership, oh, I beat Brubaker. Woo! But then what if Marshe wins? So now I have to face Marshe.
I think that would be a very compelling match.
I'm not on TV right now.
Maybe that's your vehicle to TV. You beat Marshe Rocket for his title if he beats Cody. C Red's the champion, and he went through Brubaker and Marshe to get there.
Steve, you're stretching this too much. Again, I'm starting to have a problem with the CEO. And with that being said, please let's interview our guest. Please.
I'm sorry, it must be the whiskey talking. I'm just feeling a little confrontational tonight. Mr. Pierce, you have your whole section at Crash Tested Shows. You are probably the most popular superstar on this roster, with the exception of our champion. And that's because the man's on NWA Power and you can't fight TV. And now your tag team has a manager. Why do you, I mean, what made you decide to have this guy wander into the ring, give you some suggestions, and you just signed him right? What is it? Wolfguard? Is that what it was? After Saturday night, my mind is a blur. What the name of your manager is?
Eric Wolfguard.
I was right, sort of, kind of. So now you have a manager, Wolfguard, AJ Flyer, Michael Pierce. Tell me a little bit about this partnership, this managerial decision. Having a manager, picking a manager, very difficult and a life-changing decision. See Red, been a manager. He's taken people to the promised land. What makes you think Wolfgar can take you to the promised land?
Since I debuted May 22nd at Destiny Bound Night 1, there has been a plethora of people wanting to manage. They want to hop on the train of what I offer, which I don't know what that is quite yet. I know what I want, and that's the CTW World Heavyweight Championship at some point. But I'd rather, I guess the decision came down to the fact he looked me in the eye and asked. He didn't text. He didn't send an email. He said what he wanted and asked for it. And he took advantage of an opportunity to present himself. And I can respect that as a wrestler, as a showman of various different stages, whether it's karaoke at one place and wrestling in another. I can respect that passion, that drive. This is my target. This is what I'm going for. Let's do this.
You used the word plethora. So I'm a fan. I was a fan before. Now I'm a real fan because a good vocabulary is in this business is very hard to find. So now you're a tag team. I mean, you were a tag team. Now you're a tag team with a manager. Have you guys come up with a name?
We have a couple ideas. Nothing concrete as of yet, but we'll fill you in as we come to realize what we're after.
I'll look forward to that. I like you and AJ Flyer as a tag team because AJ Flyer to me is one of the brightest high flyers that's up and coming. I've been a big CJ Esparza fan for a long time. And the way AJ Flyer moves, it reminds me a lot of Zero Gravity, which I like a lot. And then you, for a big man, and I think Red would agree, I'll have Red speak on this in a moment, you are incredibly athletic for a big man. Red, we don't see that very often. You see it all the time. I mean, Willie was incredibly light on his feet for a big man. What do you notice about Michael Pierce that you find? I feel like the man can do just about anything. What do you think?
So I didn't know Michael Pierce from a hole in the wall. Honestly, until that first show. Michael Pierce made me pay attention to who he is. AJ Flyer, I have seen him before, but I wasn't sure about Michael Pierce. And Michael Pierce, please forgive me, but I was like, he doesn't belong in the ring. Now, that was outside. And it was like, oh, okay. He was, in the locker room, cracking jokes and I'm like, this kid doesn't belong here. This kid needs to be in somebody's calculus class. Then I watched him perform. I've never seen someone be able to turn up the dial so fast from, I guess the best way to put it, he has a Bruce Banner personality. So in the back, he's fun-loving, goofy, happy-go-lucky, and then he went out there and he tore the house down. And I was actually shocked. Made me pay attention. Even for them to have the guts to call out CNC Destruction made me pay attention. And then to see that match made me appreciate Michael all the more. He is a big man. He can move. He can wrestle, which impressed me because a lot of times in this business you get a big man and guess what? They just want to do big man moves. And I don't mean Michael Pierce climbed the ladder and dove into a Dixie cup, and no, he
I'd like
can
to, I'd
wrestle.
like to watch that.
Greatest finesse.
No, 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 no. He can wrestle. So he impressed me. He is a great athlete. And Michael Pierce's future, I can't speak about the tag team or his new manager. I can only speak about the person we're interviewing. And I see this young man, he will have a bright future in this business pushing forward.
I agree with everything you just said. I especially like the Bruce Banner situation because I find that to be accurate. The man is docile and fun loving, and then hulks up and goes crazy within 2 seconds. So that's a good asset to have. The first time I saw him was at the second Destiny Unbound show. That was the first show I worked, and I'm like, wow, this guy's really big and he's pretty graceful, light on his feet. Then I saw him again at Destiny and then again at Whiplash. And every time I've seen him, he's leaner and quicker. So it seems to me that the man is in better shape now heading into Hollow Pursuits than he was the first time I saw him, which is a credit to your regiment and your diet, sir. Well done. You look great.
Thank
What
you.
I like, what I like about him is he is a person that you build a company around. And I think that's what CEO Jed has done. Sure, he has, great veteran pieces, yourself, C-Red, Marshe, Rocket. I don't like them, but, Miller and Cody have been around a minute. You got Brubaker, the Filth King. So there are some established veterans, but then you get guys like Michael Pierce. The building blocks to sustain this company for years. And I think that's why we're glad to have you on this show, because I think you're going to, at some point, I think you're going to carry Crash Tested Wrestling on your back.
When the time comes, they can count on me. But I want to build myself and get to that point. So I am ready.
So talk to us a little bit about your origin story. How does young Michael Pierce discover wrestling? You talked about being a performer, karaoke, stage, whatever you've been doing in your youth. What led you to the Squared Circle, and what led you to this moment in time where you are on the ground floor of a company that is in steady increase?
I discovered wrestling completely and 100% on accident. I didn't have any friends when growing up. I was kind of a loner kid. I wanted to go home and play some Halo. You know what I mean? Play with my friends around the world, not at my puny little school, because I didn't really care about my school. I got great grades and did my homework right there at the end of class, got it done, went home, played games. It was one Saturday morning when I was watching some Saturday morning cartoons, however you want to say it, and WWE Saturday Morning Slam came on. Now, this was back in 2014, 2015, and the first match I ever saw that I can very much remember was Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan. This was, I think this was during Team Hell No. This was before WrestleMania 29. Yeah, I want to say in the February, March time period back then. So I watched that and I fell in love. I went from watching on Channel 9 cable to WWE Main Event on Channel 32, Fox Chicago. Then to Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, and monthly pay-per-views. Just a continuous snowball effect till eventually I found a company that was in Maryville that went by the name Fire Pro Wrestling. So I went to their Headlock on Hunger steel cage event they used to host yearly in Portage. I asked them about training. I trained there for about a month and I got concussed. And I came up with excuses after that. Oh, after this heals or after that heals, blah, blah. garbage reasons not to get back into it. And so eventually I gave up on my dream, took a step back, looked at what reality was, continued on my personal career, and wasn't really fulfilling enough. One thing led to another, and a chance meeting with Mr. CEO Jed Williamson. And he allowed me to train in his dojo, so to speak. And it's been, the rest is history. And here we are.
It's quite an origin story. Red, you have talked about, you've been part of many people's origin stories. What do you think about what that young man just said? That's it's kind of a not the kind of story that I'm used to hearing about people getting into this business, but very interesting. What do you say, Red?
I think, but I disagree. I think they're all similar. To me, it just sounded like he was looking for something. He was trying to carve out his own niche. And I mean, yeah, it started out being Halo, and just came across, WWE, but that's how it all happens. For me, again, think about it. I didn't know anything about wrestling until sitting at my grandparents' house in the deep South, flipping the channels, and to see guys in their underwear, and I mean, when you look at it, and I put it in the perspective of, I saw Arabic dude, a black guy with no hair but two ponytails down the side of his head, and a guy with some crazy haircut, with a green tongue. And I'm like, what are these guys doing in their underwear? And why is this Arabic dude throwing fireballs? And I was hooked. That's all it took. It just takes a moment to capture you. And that's what happened with Michael. Now how you go about the journey is everybody's story. That's where I think it differs. you know. But I think, think about it. You hear people all the time, oh, well, my father or grandfather used to take me to the matches, and, or, uh, I sat down with my grandma and she was watching it. It takes that moment to captivate you. And after that, you're hooked. And like any other drug, you want more. I've got to have more body slams and more suplexes and going through going through tables. I mean, it just depends, but I think everybody's origin starts the same. Everybody just goes a different path. So Michael's no different from me or you. I mean, think about it. You weren't into wrestling. You watched wrestling, but you weren't big into it until what? That moment when you got to call a show.
It's true. I guess there's a little commonality with us all. I like the fact that, he gave up, but then came back to it. And I think that's a great lesson that, never give up. You can get sidetracked and you can sit down for a while, but get back up on that horse. And Michael Pierce is one of the top superstars in crash tested wrestling right now, leading the company into a very bright future. What led you to partner up with AJ Flyer? I mean, it's a very interesting dynamic you have. You and he have as a tag team. You're very different. You're both young, but you're very different skill sets. Talk about that.
AJ and I connected on a friendly basis, and I want to say Destiny Bound Night 1. We backstage, it was like C-Red was saying. I was joking around, having a good old dandy time, hanging out with the boys, so to speak. And AJ was just one of those guys that in the group of people I was hanging around with, joking around, he stood out as a guy like, hey, I can get along with this guy. This guy and I, we got some common ground here. We could be friends. Night 2 comes around, and he helps prevent Chris Miller and, I believe, if I remember correctly, Cody James from doing a beatdown on me, 2-on-1. So I was very thankful for that, and that made me decide, hey, I'm going to offer my services to AJ. You know, he's got more experience than me. Maybe he can help me. Maybe we can help each other and tear down this grouping called CNC Destruction. Now, it didn't exactly work out how we wanted to, unfortunately, at Destiny 4. But something about it, that match made me realize that AJ and I, we can go places here. There's a connection that we can really tear the house down. Then comes Whiplash, and I get taken out at the beginning of the match, and he comes to my rescue yet again. It's like, now I owe this guy a lot now. He's cool. He's a cool dude. He gets my humor, as stupid as it is. He's a nerd just like me, and we're both very thirsty to climb the ladder at CTW. So it worked out in a way that I was not expecting, and I feel like that's the big thing in regards to my wrestling career, is just chance meetings and things just happening to work out. When Eric Wolfgar came around to offer his services, felt like the final piece of the puzzle was really setting in. And so now what you have is my Jay Flyer and Eric coming together to end CNC Destruction, to stop the reign of terror, the bullying, the heads bouncing off tables, because that's complete garbage and doesn't need to happen.
I agree with that.
Not to a commentator and not to poor Turtle. Like, they drove him through the freaking mat, guys. Like, that was not okay. That was completely unnecessary. If it weren't for my leg, I would have been out there trying to get the guy out of there. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, they're a couple of bastards, no doubt about it. Sorry to the small Michael Pierce fans that are watching this right now. You don't get CNC this month, but you do have a tag team match. C-Red will agree that Crash Tested Wrestling has a rich tag team history. Zero Gravity held belts in Crash Tested Wrestling. The N-Words held the belts in Crash Tested Wrestling. Money, Power, and Respect. These are all very, very popular, powerful tag teams from a past era.
Hey. Who held the tag team titles last?
And that would be the ARC. They held the tag team belts for a while, very proudly. We're trying to bring, and like I said, you and Flyer now will be facing the tag team of the very mysterious Sanji and that scumbag attorney, Eric Schultz. That's an interesting tag team because both of those combatants have very particular skills, much like you guys. They're different styles. How do you prepare for a tag team like that?
Basically the same way we had to prepare against our last opponents with Esparza and Evans. Two guys that by no means have any history with each other, as far as I'm aware, at least. And they just coupled together to fight AJ and I. So there's not really a whole lot to go off. I mean, yeah, you can go back and look at all the footage of each guy individually and come up with your assumptions from there. But as much as I dislike and despise high society, Cameron has one thing correct, and that being everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. And I'm really hoping to be the one to teach that lesson to Cameron as well. Because
Cameron and his soup bones.
Michael, I'm not your manager, okay?
But he could be.
I could be, but take a piece of advice from me, okay? You want to get rid of Cameron, right?
Yeah.
Light him on fire.
Dude, All Michael has to do is put this to his head.
Oh, it'd be the Michael Jackson Pepsi commercial situation.
But who's gonna help put it out?
Yeah, he won't have a bodyguard there. Well, maybe CNC.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure the other three stooges at his side are pretty flammable too.
But here's my issue with that whole thing. Has anybody paid attention, right? S Curl and Nick Diamond,
Diamond Douche.
They go off each other, right?
Well, I don't know what they do in the private.
But you know what
I was about to say what happens in the lockers in the locker room.
But have you really seen CNC associate outside with?
Well, the only time I really saw CNC with them was at the end of that show when it was the four of you in the ring and the four of them outside the ring.
But think about it. They had just finished fighting, right?
Right.
So they should have been out there.
I suppose that's a good point.
But you've never seen them, like, think about it. You can go on Facebook, Instagram, no TikTok today, Steve. Be quiet.
And you right now, as a matter of fact,
you can see pictures of me and all of my associates and friends, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
But Cameron is always alone.
That's a fair point.
I would
That's
think
why
so.
I
So
call it a false empire.
So again, Michael, there you go, right there. You know, if you need one, I'll bring this. I've got another can of fluid. You know, or you could just pour the fluid. You know,
I got plenty of it here. You know?
No, we don't want to waste that. We don't want to waste
true.
that.
That is perfectly good Canadian whiskey. We don't want to waste that.
But he's probably got enough chemicals in his hair. If you just, you could probably be in the parking lot and like this in his hair.
He looks greasy enough, don't he? Well, you bring up an excellent point in that, and that's why I refer to the high society as a false empire and Cameron with a styrofoam crown. What does he lead besides phantasms? They're only there when it's convenient for the clientele, the goon squad, so to speak. They're never there. I've never seen all four of them drinking a beer at a bar. I've never seen them discussing strategy outside of CTW. They have no real ambition. They just want to cause chaos and pick on people. And that's cool. That's dandy. They can do it, but they best damn well not expect not to be punished for it. And they're going to get hit and hit freaking hard.
Well, Steve knows my stance. You know, I normally, you know, I've been S Curl at one point.
Yeah, I've often called S Curl a dime store C-Red.
You know, but the issue is his issues with the owner, which I now have at least one, but I'll take Steve's point into consideration tonight and I'll sleep on it. But it's how he does it. And again, and it's more of this than anything. And I get it. You know, you ruffle everybody's feathers and make them mad. But the problem is there are more of us than there are of you. And he's going to wind up pissing off the entire locker room and company. And right now it's 4 of them. And I'm
the locker room of like 20.
So, but I'm not even talking about just the locker room. I'm talking about the locker room. I'm talking about the guys that set up the ring. I'm talking about the guys that the music production guys. I'm talking about the MC. You're gonna have you're gonna have the person in the popcorn stand get so pissed off that they throw a Pepsi and bop somebody upside the head. And it's only 4 of them. That's where they're coming to. Then what are they gonna do? So yeah, you can fight 2-on-2. You can fight 1-on-1. Can you fight 20 against 4?
The odds aren't great. Here's the biggest deal when you talk about the problems of Cameron. He's been handed everything by this CEO that he hates. He was handed commentary. He was handed the nickname The Voice. He was handed a co-hosting duty on Wednesday Night Wreckage. What did he do to earn any of this? You see, son,
I think Michael should be the new co-host.
I would think that would be great. At least it would be entertaining, and he'd wear
It would, wouldn't it? I mean,
proper clothing.
First of all, I've heard him backstage, and he's quite an entertaining guy.
Incredibly well spoken, Michael. It's a privilege.
So I think him and Kenton would be so far more entertaining, and people would tune in. But that's just me.
Well, that's the thing. If you put me on there, people will tune in because they'll have something to laugh at or be entertained by.
That's right.
And that's why, and I'm just here to say, Mr. CEO, if you're watching, at some point, I'm sure you will. Yeah, you need to call me because we got issues. But anyway, you wonder why the Wednesday Night Wreckage is not bringing in those numbers you want.
It's not anything to do with Steve Kenton. He's fantastic.
Has nothing to do with him. So I'll just let that be and let you figure that part out. But even Stevie Wonder can see that.
This is Cameron in a nutshell. You know, discount C Red, and that's his whole personality right there.
But
a forced fake laugh and all that.
First of all, there's already a discount C Red out there, and if I had to wage him,
Goodwill, he's a Goodwill C Red
against S Curl, I would pick the dollar store C Red over S Curl.
At some point, you have to earn your keep, and you know,
get your glasses slapped off.
Got to get your glasses slapped off. That's the thing. You can't be handed it. You got to earn it. You can't be given everything and be able to appreciate anything. And anybody will tell you that's true. And he threatens and he postures and he, you know, I know that there are big things coming. You know, the CEO is doing fine work. There's no doubt about that. And he's one man. You know, he's going to get other people to help him. You know, that's the natural progression of a company because he's got things to do behind the scenes. He's going to need someone to deal with the nonsense. Like he's out there doing quality control and talent relations, and he's dealing with the fans and he's dealing with the venues. There's a lot of things that Jed does on a given night. He's never seated. He's always running, putting out fires. When we had that chicanery in the back with Nick Diamond attacking people back there to create distraction, Jed had to go put that fire out, and he missed everything that happened in the ring. So he had to go back to footage to see what was going on. He'll need to bring in people to have his six, so to speak, to do some of the tasks so he can do the task that he needs to do. So Cameron will be dealing with other people at some point. I'm quite sure about that because this is a product that's not going anywhere. This is just going to get bigger. And Jed's going to bring in people to help him, people that are going to be able to go eye to eye with Cameron. And, you know, he wants to talk about soup bones. Well, there'll be some people that have some soup bones for him.
Hey, has anybody noticed, and maybe it's just me, you know, in my old age, I'm starting to lose some brain cells.
You and me both.
Has anybody seen Cameron even throw a punch?
Well, I saw, you know, on Instagram, he did one of these things.
No, I mean, not on Instagram. I mean, when the battle is hot, outside of interfering in my match, you know, and again, he distracted the ref, which again, I'll okay, kudos, but he has yet to be physical.
Soup bones. He
So
said
at some point, and I'm gonna say this in the camera, directly to you, camera.
he's gonna pull the bones out of the soup.
Me and you. I don't care if you don't know how to wrestle. I don't care. Your mouth has finally overloaded a check that your ass will have to cash. And I'm the cashier. I'm just letting you know.
Time to pay the check, Cameron. It's coming. Michael Pierce, where do you want to go? Right now, you are one of the building blocks of Crash Tested Wrestling. You're going to make a name for yourself here. You already have for the most part. But I know many wrestlers. Every wrestler has ambition. You're a young man. What is the future? What do you want? What drives you?
I want to perform at WrestleMania. I want that to be
shit.
my end goal. I want to retire at WrestleMania. I want to work my way up on the indie scene, earn my keep on the indie scene, make my way into AEW. And I want to go the distance as far as I can. And if there is a barrier, I look forward to breaking through it.
Man, I love that.
In this business, there cannot be a barrier. There cannot be barriers in this business. Barriers slow us down. And wrestling is nothing but ongoing and moving forward.
You got to love that, C-Red. That's some moxie right there. And I'm not talking about Moxie Molly, who is days away from becoming a mom. Congratulations, Moxie. That's dreaming and dreaming big. There's no sense in dreaming if you don't dream big. Red, you've been up and down the road. I know you never had the aspiration to do it because you wanted to stay here. You had obligations that you needed to be present for. So that wasn't your path, but that is a path, and he's dreaming big.
Oh, I'm not knocking it. I think here's the thing. I always tell young wrestlers, have a plan A, which is fine, but also have a plan B and C. Because Michael will find out soon enough, if he hasn't already learned, this is a cutthroat ass business.
Yeah, it is.
And
you got to callous up. A wise man with an axe once told me, you better callous up, kid, or you're not going to last very long.
There are going to be people that see how much talent you have and how other people are starting to take notice, and they will. I see that happening. And some people will just be jealous that, guess what? They're not getting that opportunity. So they will throw everything at you. So you have to have a thick skin, as Steve said. But if that is your dream, I never discourage anybody.
Go get it.
If that's your dream, here's the biggest thing, Michael, that I can tell you. How did I get in this business? By opening my big mouth. I told my daughters to live their dreams, whatever their dreams were, to go live them. And after not even 5 minutes after I told my daughters, standing around, giving them that speech, I couldn't look myself in the mirror because I hadn't lived mine. Hence, 20 years ago. So, if that is your dream, go follow it to the end. Go follow it till you can't anymore. And then when you think you can no longer push forward, push forward. Keep trying, keep clawing, keep crawling, keep doing whatever you need to do to reach your goal. And again, people's goals in life change, Might meet a sexy supermodel and she wants to have had 30 babies by you, and you might decide to stay home. Who
You're gonna
knows?
have 30 babies. Holy Toledo.
That's
Well,
my own roster right there.
That is
right.
a,
He'll start his own company then.
that's right.
Um,
It's a lot of
The
kids.
Pierce Foundation.
see, but again, you never know what life is going to have in store for you. You know, but also, you know, make sure you have a support system that understands your goals and your dreams. That's the biggest thing. I have no problem saying that next week ladies and gentlemen, the Power Hour will not be on, and it's not because there will be technical difficulties or Steve has to finally run through the car wash to get all the sweat and blood off because Hunter Payne has been killing him. No, it is because guess what? He has obligations, and we're not ashamed to say that here on the show. Both of us have obligations, and sometimes those obligations have to come first. So therefore, hey, you know, it's part of life, you know. So just understand, Michael, life is gonna happen regardless. But if that is your dream, that's your dream. Don't let anybody detour you from your dream because it's not theirs. It's not theirs,
Yours.
but it's yours.
Michael Pierce, you and AJ Flyer fight Sanji and Eric Schultz, Hallow Pursuits, October the 24th. You're healthy. You're ready to go. Do you have a message for your opponents?
Someone's going to have their face meet my knee. And when that happens, you can count to 3. It's all over once I hit my Sky Piercer.
The
AJ and I will win.
That's unfair,
I
though.
like that. I like that name, Sky Pierce.
He's got a little, but it's a little small guy. And then the guy, every time I see him, the only thing I can think, I do nothing. You know, so I'm just saying.
One of the guys off Spaceballs, Sergeant Asshole.
No, so before your time, Michael, before your time, and me and Steve are showing our age, there was a show called Hogan's Heroes.
There was a show called Hogan's Heroes.
I've watched that with my mom.
And what was his name, Steve?
Colonel Clink, I think.
Colonel Clink, but who was the stooge?
Oh, who was the stooge? I
Sergeant.
don't remember. Tell me, help me. Come on, I got nothing.
I'll give you a hint. His opponent is Michael Pierce.
Sergeant Schultz? Well, there you go. It's the 6 degrees of Hogan's hero separation. Wow, we reached deep for that one, didn't we?
Not
Michael,
really.
Not really. Michael Pierce, it's been a pleasure having you on the Power Hour. We wish you continued success in your journey in this business. You're an up-and-coming star. You're a hell of a nice guy. And we look forward to effectively riding your coattails into the stratosphere. So when you speak of us, speak well. C-Red is absolutely correct. We will not be doing the Power Hour next week. And I'll tell you why. Just so we're clear. We're calling this the mid-season finale because we're off next week. It's just a cool way to say we're going to take a week off. It's my wife's birthday. And without her, I wouldn't be able to do any of this. So it doesn't feel right doing a show on her birthday. So we were never going to do a show on this day.
If you thought the beatdown that he got from Paragon was horrible.
Yeah, I don't want, I'm not giving my wife a reason to throw me in a trunk. I probably already have. So we're gonna let that
hey, we have to be honest, dude. If they put up with us immensely.
Gone six weekend days a month, doing various shows, living out my dream. The very least I can do is make sure that I don't have plans on the actual birthday. So that's why we will be on hiatus next week. It's a respect thing, and she deserves it. So
Are you cooking? Are you cooking? Are you cooking?
I don't cook. She wants steak. That would be a
You need me
disaster.
to teach
So
you how to cook.
I will find her steak somewhere. There will be steak.
You don't know
I'll
how
help
to
you
cook.
cook the steak.
I'm not cooking the
See?
steak, man.
See,
I'll be your
Michael said
private
he.
chef for a night.
See,
I'm gonna buy the steak. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna buy the steak the way
But
she
there's
wants.
no love in it that way,
There's
man.
love. She said, "I want steak from here." Listen,
Yeah, but the love's coming
Oh,
from your
so
wallet,
she has
not
a-
from your personal chef, man.
I appreciate
she-
and you know what? I'm gonna take you up on that somewhere down the road. But when the birthday girl says, "I want steak from here on my birthday," any deviation from that plan could be hazardous to my health. So she wants the steak, she will get the steak. If you
I
want,
mean, it's a good thing you are used to hazardous health situations. You're in the wrestling business, so
yes, I know when to duck. Well, most of the time,
yeah.
maybe not all the time.
Yeah, I must say most of the
Maybe not all the
time.
time. Maybe not all the time. We'll drop this little announcement tonight, and we'll say it again tomorrow. November the 9th, the Power Hour goes on the road to the arena, the Compass Arena in Willowbrook, which will be the location of DWA's return on November 13th. We're going there on the 9th, 4 days ahead of time, and we are going to have a live interview with one Ivan Manson. I encourage everybody to come to the Compass Arena. There's food, there's beverages, and we're going to do this thing live. Red will be there. I'll be there. Ivan Manson will be there. Hopefully a lot of fans will be there, and it'll still have a Zoom appearance because I don't have professional equipment, but we will have a lot of fun, and we will look around the location that will be the house, 3,000 seats strong, for the big Dynamic Wrestling Alliance show on November the 13th. So it's the final stop on the road to DWA 11/13/21. Join us and Ivan Manson on that date. That's a big announcement. We're looking forward to it. Thanks to Chris Berry for the opportunity there. We'll be off next week. As I said, our next guest is the Diamond Douche himself. That would be Nick Diamond of High Society. So that is.
I've got
Please
obligations
rip him a
that
new
night.
one.
I've got
Please.
obligations that night.
Oh, you got it. You got it.
Obligations to
We
rip
got to
him a
tell.
new
We got to give
asshole.
the douches time. We got to give the Diamond douches time. Nick deserves it. We'll give him his time. We got to give High Society equal airtime. We're all in this business to make Crash Tested a better place, and we will use our platform to do so, just like we do for Rocket Pro, just like we do for CSW, like we do for every place that we work. So, on behalf of the urban sensation, the iconic C Red, and on behalf of the face of the future, Mr. Michael Pierce, the Sky Piercer himself, I'm Steve. Thank you for joining us on the Power Hour this evening, and we will catch you in 2 weeks. Good night, everybody, except Cameron. We don't want you to have a good night. We want some soup bones. Good night, everybody.